What exactly are you supposed to do when you run out of shop space, when you have too many tools or lasers in your shop? That's right, you build a new one. Hey everybody, my name is Sam and welcome back to Samcraft. That is right, I am completely out of space in this workshop. I have a 12-foot by 20-foot workshop that doubles not only as a home of my small business for laser engraving and other items, but also serves as my YouTube studio to do tool reviews, laser videos, teach you guys things, and otherwise jump around on camera in front of you guys. Over the last 5 months, I've been saving money, and I'm happy to say today is the day we're going to break ground on a new workshop, the new home of Samcraft. Some people are calling it Samcraft 2.0. It is going to be a ginormous workshop, at least for me. It is going to be 20 feet wide, 32 feet long, and completely stick built by this guy. You are not inside that building like you have always been for, well, at least last year and a half. You're outside. You're in the great outdoors, but you're currently here at the job site. Samcraft 2.0 workshop build Megatron is underway. In this video, I'm going to continue on progress, doing some work here on the groundwork, batter boards, string line, layout lines, and all sorts of stuff to prepare for foundation. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Let's take a look at the batter boards. Let's take a look how I do my string lines, layout lines, and otherwise hang out with me as I literally break ground on the new workshop, make some headway, and put strings and paint on the ground. That's what it's all about, guys. Using my tractor, I have sculpted the ditch line that goes along parallel with my existing workshop and then goes down the length of the new workshop site out into the field, and it drains out that way. The next area I want to do is sculpt me a ditch line right here that will run parallel to the carport and the new workshop build. Outside, visually, it's going to be very uneven terrain and look weird for a while. But what I plan to do is lay some driveway tile or drainage pipe in these ditches, wrap them with fabric, and then cover them up with rock, creating French drains of a sort. That will allow the rainwater runoff to be collected, funneled underground, and taken out to drain as it naturally would without creating a soppy mess above ground or making us have to jump ditch lines getting in and out of the structure. As I work on this ditch cutting, I will point out that yes, there is a string on the ground, and that is there as my visual reference point. It is laid roughly where the wall of the new workshop is going to go, so I know that my ditch line absolutely needs to be on the outside of that, as well as any ground sloping needs to slope away from that point as well. Just to answer the question you're probably already wondering, why is there string? That's why. I've taken a little bit of time, got my 4-foot level, and then got the laser detector clamped up here in place. And this is marked exactly 14 inches from the bottom of my level to the laser point. The reason I did that is that my floor framing is going to be 2x8s, my beams are going to be 2x8s, and so when this is level or beeps and tells me I'm at the point, this is the top of my footer. The reason I'm being picky about that, and the reason I've got the laser set up out here exactly where it is I want this new workshop to be exactly on the same plane as my existing workshop. I want the floor heights to be exactly the same. The 4 corner batter boards are finally done, and using the laser level, or I guess maybe the transit in this instance, they are all perfectly level with each other, which is a very top priority, something you want to do, because as I now run my string lines to get my rectangular shape for my building and make sure all of my angles are square, if I'm not working with a perfectly flat plane, such as these batter boards, if it is skewed, it's not going to be correct. My dimensions will be off. So leveling the batter boards, while it may seem a little bit weird, or maybe you're thinking I'm being super picky, is actually a very important step to this process. I've measured, scratched around with this.
So we're just putting another line there?
We're going to unhook that, we're going to pull the string over and hold it in place. I got to hold mine while you hold yours up. So this knot is done. Alright, my layout lines are done, so what I'm going to do next is use my plumb bob to put it right in my 4 corners, my intersections, drop it straight down, and give me a point on the ground which is right below my intersections, because what I'll then use is my tape measure right there at those points, stretch it all the way out to the other, and then mark where each of my footers are going to be dug and installed. Alright guys, with the placement of those gold timber screws in the ground as my insurance, I am officially done with batter boards, layout lines, and marking for my foundation. This was a huge milestone. It took a lot of work over a handful of work days, but to get this far feels good. This is a lot of work that has just been done. Not much visual, but a lot of math, a lot of thinking, a lot of precision, and it's very, very important. Your foundation obviously is the most important part of any build, and while the designs I have for my foundation, there is wiggle room when the beams go on top, there is wiggle room when the floor framing goes on top of that, there is wiggle room. The most precise that I can be at this point in the beginning is only going to help me in the end, because small changes now magnify throughout the time of a project. And for a build as large as this, a 20-foot wide, 32-foot long workshop build, I need to be as precise as possible at every single step so I don't run into big problems when I get to the end, which I guess is the roof. So, if you've got any questions about the batter board, the layout lines, or anything that I've done in this video, feel free to leave me a comment. There's also a link to the playlist down below which will take you from beginning to end on this entire build. So if you're here from the future, you think this is pretty cool, you kind of want to see where things go, that playlist is your easy street link to see this build. And sometimes it gets confusing on YouTube how to find what videos. That one is it. there you go. Otherwise, check the video description down below for links to the other videos that I've mentioned as far as who I learned how to build batter boards from, any kind of tips and tricks with layout. I'll put any of that useful stuff down there since I am clearly not an expert. I want to at least pass on information that was helpful for me to learn as I did this process, and hopefully it'll just add more help and value to you, and you'll be better set up for your project or just more well informed in general. If you guys got any questions or comments, leave them for me down below. Otherwise, take care. I'll see you guys next time on the future workshop build site. Pretty cool.